This video shows Officer Brennan assaulting me while my back was turned. So I met him at the park while looking for my wife because she had gone for a walk and hadn't come back yet. So I assumed she was at the park. Brennan saw me there and explained I was looking for her. He didn't see her, so he told me to have a good night. So I left the park and began walking. And my neighbor called me and said he had to get home. So I started running. So that's the video picks up after him asking me why I ran, and then I explained it. And then he asked me if my wife and I were arguing, and I chose not to answer. So that's what shows me walking, and then him, doing what he did. So there's the encounter, and all this is unlawful. You can't detain me, even if he was called to investigate arguing, which that wasn't even true, but here we go. I'm walking up the stairs with my dog, trying to put my dog and kid inside, and he still hasn't explained why he was at my house. The full footage is on my YouTube channel, telling it like it is, but he's just aggressive. He's been aggressive the whole time, and I was unsure what was going on. I just know there was a guy that was attacking me. He didn't say why he was there. He was just attacking me. So the other officers arrived because I guess he had called for backup. I'm not really sure when, but he's just being very aggressive. And so I haven't been told why he was even at my house. So realistically, he lied and said he was dispatched to my house. I know he lied because my lawyer confirmed it, and it's on TikTok. But he wouldn't advocate for me. But he had made this whole thing about being called because my wife and I are arguing, which he wasn't called. And then it became this thing. I was charged with resisting arrest and assaulting an officer. And you can clearly see that I should never have been under arrest because he understood the law, as I explained. He didn't. I have the right to walk away when I want to speak to an officer when I've committed no crime. But here he is. I'm just sitting there, and they're trying to. And so he's telling his sergeant buddy, because in the video, in the full video, he says, "You got a call?" That's because it's like when somebody calls, it echoes over the radio. Everyone hears it. It's not just one person, but surprisingly, but like he supposedly heard a call where nobody else heard anything. And so this is, they're talking to me, and this is, what's going on. And now they're trying to get me my kid, because my wife still hasn't come back yet. And so I think he did, then he tells me, I think this is the scene where he tells me, we got a call about arguing. Again, that's not a crime, even if that were true. So we did argue earlier that night, like about 6 o'clock, so this was like 2 or 3 hours. It was like, why would somebody be calling now? So the officer provided a documentation he claimed to dispatch, but really I think he just used at the park when I was with him to try to make that the call. But even if that were true, I was at the park with him at the same time of the quote-unquote call, so I would have been a suspect anyway. But later on, I just want to share this because it kind of gets glossed over, but I had thought the neighbors had called on me, different neighbors, not the ones watching my kids, but I had thought they had called on me because the guy was a fire chief, so he knew the police in the area, and he had used them to harass me after he asked my wife my ethnicity, and she told him that I was biracial. And this was after my mother had come over. My mother's black, and I look white. But all this stuff had ensued, and so the officer is describing, the injuries from that, where he assaulted me, and I, resisted, which I had legally the right to. There's no mention of me punching or anything. And I say this because the Rebecca Dixon of the Gibsonville Police, she's now the Stoneville chief. She had her friend Jeff Reese, his son, and some other guy lie inside, assault the officer for 20 minutes. So the entire encounter, like when he assaulted me, didn't even last no 20 minutes. And so they blocked me from Facebook, and they had basically worked with the town to conceal this, because I had reached out to various people, and they were sending emails to the lawyer that I had, Don Dickerson, telling me to stop it. It's unlawful for them to do, but I did stop because I was afraid of them, trying to put me in jail, which I know this is unlawful. But I had no power. There's the cuts, but I had no power. I had nothing that I could do to stop what was going on. And I had reached out to all these people, the senator, Amy Gailey, Dennis Rydell, and all these other people. And they chose to not do anything. So this was a malicious prosecution. And, just throughout this whole ordeal, my daughter was traumatized. So in this video, they're trying to go through the window after they unlawfully arrested me. And so this is what I released a video being trespassed. So this was the trespass was to conceal me from speaking to anybody. And so it's like people might ask, well, how did you lose twice? Because I had corrupt lawyers. That's why. The second lawyer that I had in the appeal, John Cox, he's actually Facebook friends with the Gibsonville police chief, and I wasn't told this. I documented this on this TikTok channel, and so this is going to be shared on YouTube as well. But it's documented on my YouTube and my TikTok, showing like the corruption and everything. This is what's been going on for my family, like. All they worried about is covering up what they did. Doesn't matter that we were the victims. And Rebecca Dixon didn't perform an internal investigation until the appeal. She actually blocked me on Facebook, promoted this officer, and then has him working with kids now. So look at them, like I think they at some point in the video they mute the camera, but anyone could have done something. Anyone could have done the right thing. But instead, they worked together to conceal this and hide it. And this is why I don't respect the police. Like, yeah, maybe they didn't know when they came out there, because it's like, yeah, they're believing what he's saying. But any one of these people could have done something. Anyone could have spoken the truth. But it's all right to violate my rights, because I didn't blindly follow police rules, and that's the problem. So if you watch the full video, you'll see everything. Like, they mute, and it's supposed to be unlawful to mute, or it should be anyways. But they're discussing, what to do about it, because he messed up. The officer did, because this is an obvious civil rights violation. So the entire video is like an hour and 30 minutes, which I have the full video on my YouTube channel, but I've made small edits because YouTube was making me take it down because it had certain things, so I had to edit like my address, and I had to edit some other things out. But there I am being escorted. My wife still hasn't come back, and I think during this point I'm being searched and everything, and I'm getting ready to tell the officer about my wife and like reaching out to the neighbor who was watching my kids. So this is the video, and like I said, I just saw the officer while looking for my wife, and everything was cool. He told me I was looking for her. He didn't see her, and I left. Then I was arrested, even though I didn't do anything. And the reason why the witnesses were brought was because in district, it was all friends and stuff, so they found me guilty, but they couldn't do that in appeals because it was a different judge. So they had the people lie. One of the things they said, I've already covered, that I thought that was in 20 minutes. But Rebecca Dixon is being heard and seen coercing Jeff to lie, saying, no, Jeff, We need you to help our officer. And then he starts saying a bunch of stuff that isn't true. This resulted in CPS coming to my home a couple of times, actually. And then other people have been, like their family, have worked together to conceal this misconduct, as well as